Louisiana Board of Adjustment. It's Monday, August 4th, 2025, and it's 5 p.m. Item number 1 on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody would please stand. Okay, the next item on the agenda, item number 2, is the roll call. Here.
Here.
Item 3 on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the June 2nd, 2025 meeting. The minutes are available on the website if anyone is interested in viewing them. And we did not have a July meeting, so that's why we're approving the June minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Second? Okay. Anyone opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Item number 4 of public hearings. First public hearing is item A, V is in Victory 25-12, variance to reduce rear yard setback. This is a 0.35 acre property located at 7634 John Newcomb Avenue. The applicant requests a variance to section 7:11.2.1 to reduce the rear setback from 25 feet to 7.5 feet for a proposed addition to a single-family dwelling in the A1 Single-Family Residential Zoning District. This board has the authority to permit the variance under section 7:2.3.3. And the applicant is Michael Street. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? If you would turn the microphone on and give us your name and address. I'm going to turn mine off because we can get feedback if I don't.
Hi, everybody. My name is Michael Street. I am a resident at 7634 John Newcomb Avenue in Baton Rouge 70810, or now St. George. I still haven't gotten that in my vernacular yet, but need to start putting that on our mail. I've been a resident at that location in Wimbledon subdivision for 22 years now. So my wife and my family moved there in 2003. The request that we have, I guess I'd like to at least give you a little bit of history of my family in that house. We moved in with my children, my youngest at 2 years old and my oldest at 10. And so through their formative years, we've been in that house. We moved in when it was an uninhabited home. I think it had been on sale and on the market for a number of years, or at least for a number of months rather. And we moved in and it needed a little bit of work, a little tender loving care. We moved in and it's been a great home for us. We've done little things to improve the home. And of course, as you guys probably know, that area of Baton Rouge was not developed like it is today at the time. I mean, there was no Perkins Road expansion, no 5 lanes at the front. There was no Willow Grove subdivision to our right. There was no Perkins Road to the other side. So there's been a lot of development that's gone on around us. We've been happy to see investment in the neighborhood. In 2008, my immediate neighbor to my left invested very heavily in his home to increase the size of the property. I guess he had about 2,200 square feet and increased the living area of that house next to me to about 3,800 square feet. And I don't know what the overall living under roof went to, but it's quite significant. It was a 2-story addition. It took a mirror, what was essentially the same as my property, with a side carport, built a garage. So it was a very significant improvement to the home. And we were very happy to see it. There's been other investments in our neighborhood, which I think Wimbledon subdivision the covenants were written in 1977, just to give you an idea of the age of the neighborhood. And the articles of incorporation were in 1981. So we've been there the 22 years. So our life stance adjustment is our kids have now, graduated from college, and we're at a point where our family has changed to where our My father-in-law passed away it's been a year this last March. And my mother-in-law, who lives in Iberville Terrace, just a 5 or so minute drive around the corner, is not needing to stay in that big house that she's in, and we'd like to move her into and to live with us. And so we started the planning of how do we go about trying to get her over with us. She's an independent 80-year-old, and so we looked at different options. At least in my thinking, I thought maybe the first thing that we could do is just add on to the back of our home. And I'm not into the zoning and understanding exactly what goes in all this, so we really didn't know. But we had somebody look at it, and they said, well, maybe we could go backwards some. And so the first thing I did was call the HOA and said, hey, what are we allowed to do? We were able to find the covenants, and and the HOA wrote back to me and they said, look, our restrictions have been there since 1977. There have been a lot of allowances against our restrictions over the years. And so our best recommendation is to go with the parish or the city, restrictions in terms of allowances and variances, setbacks, and that sort of thing. And if you do need to do an allowance, then you'd have to file for a variance, and they'll put a sign in your yard. All the things that have happened. That's exactly what happened. So the next thing we did was to contact an architect and to get them to come and look at our property, which our house, if you see a picture of our home, is sort of a U. And so looking at what we could do, they best recommended that we commandeer our current carport to build the living space for my mother-in-law. We would like it to be independent living for her. And so what that does is it allows for her to be closer to us and further away from the rear setback. I think the living ceases at 28 feet from the rear setback, but it does pose the problem of what do we do with our parking and the carport. And so we went through the drawing process, and of course that's where the carport pushes back. Carport and storage push back. And when we did the plans, we also were trying to be cognizant of the servitudes and that sort of thing. So we're in front of the servitude. And doing this, I think I put this into the letter that I wrote to you guys. The immediate left neighbor that I mentioned that did their 2008, in fact, the current neighbor that I have is not the one that did it. He bought that home from the previous person, is the one that did that construction. That house goes all the way back to within, I don't know, it may be 6 feet or something like that, but it goes all the way back. I did a little bit of research in our neighborhood, and there's probably, a half a dozen homes that sort of mirror that sort of pushback that we're asking for from the committee here. And those are just for your consideration. I did see one thing that we wanted to do with the covenants is that they asked in the original covenants is that the parking, that any carports be side facing, that they don't face the street. And so we wanted to maintain that and maintain the basic look and feel of the neighborhood. And so we've done that. I guess the next thing that I did was, once we figured out, because I think it was a misunderstanding on my part about the 28 feet away versus the rest of the structure going all the way back, is that we applied for the variance. We had worked with Rachel over as our planner, and she said, and they did the initial assessment, said you're going to have to apply for variance. She helped me do that, and we did that. And then I went and talked to my neighbors that are immediately around us. I got 2 of the 3 in letters that are submitted through the website to you guys. I actually was able to finally talk to the third neighbor and get a letter from him. I have copies of that. If you guys would like to see that, I can hand that to you right now. Would y'all like that? Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm stuck. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, the rear neighbor and the 2 sides. The rear neighbor is the one I was most concerned about with this, and his name is Sod Dara. He's directly behind me, and his letter is included to indicate that he had no real concerns other than the fact that he was concerned that we would build a 2-story structure that would have windows overlooking his backyard to the rear, And nothing back there is going to be like that. As I mentioned, the fact there are no windows on the backside of our property. All of her windows are to the side, and then the only windows would be facing back towards my house. So there's nothing at the rear would be facing his property at all. I think those are the big things that I had to kind of to at least discuss. We do have a couple of things that, as they were reviewing our plans, that will need to be adjusted that we're planning to make, but they're not relevant to the setback. They have to do with one of them dealt with the width of the eaves that were originally planned, a 3-foot eave over one side of the house needs to be reduced to 12 inches. I've already submitted that one. Another one has to do with a support beam that has to go on the interior of the carport, existing carport, as a higher grade beam. I don't know how to say that any better than that. I do have my contractor here with me. If you need to ask a more detailed question about that, he could step in and help me with that. Okay, with that, any questions from you guys?
Board have any questions? Okay.
Are you keeping that tree in your backyard? I noticed from Google you had a big tree.
No, excellent question. Actually, we took the tree down a year ago. And the reason we were aware that my mother-in-law was going to want to do this. My father-in-law was in poor health. And so we were knowing that we would want to do this. It was a live oak. And so part of what we have to do is, and it's included in the plan, we're going to have to break up existing concrete on our patio, which is in sections. It's like, I don't know what you call it, but they're big blocks of concrete, and they've been misplaced because of the root system of the live oak. So all that's going to be broken up, and they're going to just get at those roots and then re-level everything and put good drainage so that we're not dealing with any kind of drainage problems back there. It's a good question there.
Any other questions from the board? All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a public meeting. Is there anyone else here to speak on this item, either in favor or opposed or otherwise? Okay, I'm going to declare the public hearing on this item closed. Does the board have any discussion, statements, anything they want to say? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the request for a variance on this property?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second? Could you call the roll, Madam Clerk? Is that a yes or a no? I couldn't understand. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And the variance is approved. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing on item number V as in Victory 25-13, exception for fence height. This is a 0.28 acre property located at 16246 Batavia Avenue. The applicant requests an exception to section 7:9.5.2.D.2 lowercase b to increase the height of a solid wooden fence from 4 feet to 6 feet in the corner side yard in the A1 Single Family Residential Zoning District. This board has the authority to permit this exception under section 2.3.3.D.7, and the applicant is Jason Harris. Is there anyone here to speak on this matter?
My name's Jason Harris. This is the homeowner that's with me. He hired me and my company to do the project. But essentially, the request is kind of confusing where it says increase the height from 4 foot to 6 foot. The current fence that they have out there is actually already 6 foot. And that's the one that we would be replacing. So what they do is they have a 6 foot fence that's currently out there, and they're wanting to replace it with another 6 foot treated pine wood fence. But they've got some young kids and stuff that they're trying to keep protected back there. So they're just trying to keep that hidden from out of sight from people driving down the street and anybody walking down the sidewalk. I'm not sure if y'all have any questions or anything, but it's going to be scooted up about a foot, but it is the exact same type and kind of fence that was previously there.
Members have any questions about this item? Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Could
thank
you
you.
turn the mic off, please? Well, we may have other speakers, but we might get feedback if you don't. Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone else here to speak on this item, either in favor or against or informational? Seeing none, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. Any board member have any statements or anything they want to say about this item? Do I have a motion to approve the request for the exception for the fence height on this matter? Second? Okay. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Is there any other business that needs to come before this board? Seeing none, anyone have any general comments? Any board members, any comments? Anybody out there in the public have any comments they'd like to make? Hearing none, I'm going to ask for if anyone will make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second? Anyone opposed? Okay, the meeting's adjourned. The next meeting of the Board of Adjustment will be September 8th, 2025 at 5 p.m. unless there's no business, in which case it would be canceled. Thank you.